So this is the pair of laundry that's on every floor, and what's great about these, of course, being front-loading technology, the utility costs are a lot less, especially the water consumption. It's about half of what a top loader is. And the other thing about these, for people that may say that you have never used one of these things before, well, you can tell them, you know, whenever they go to a laundromat, most of the machines in there, and certainly the big commercial machines, are all front load. They're a lot more gentle on your clothes. They do a lot better job on the wash. And frankly, especially if you have some expensive clothes, so, you know, just think of how much the value of a load of laundry is, really. If you had to go buy all those clothes again, so the more gentle you are and better job you do cleaning them, you know, you're saving money in the long term. And this says there's some water there. We've tested all these machines, of course, and the one thing I will point out, as a front-loading machine, unlike a top-load machine where if you left an extra sock in your basket and you want to pop it in the top, you can. With a front-load machine, as you can imagine, the water comes up to about here. And the last thing we want is someone to be able to open this door and then flood the whole laundry room. So therefore, as soon as the water gets to a certain level, the door mechanism lock engages, and then you can't open it up until the cycle's finished.
Actually, a light on these machines, it lights up when it locks, and it'll start before the water actually starts filling. It'll lock it. It'll tumble dry for a couple rolls to loosen up the laundry, and then the door will lock, and you won't be able to open it again until the cycle's complete. And there's no way without a technician to get the door unlocked if the cycle doesn't go through.
So just, you know, just like anything, make sure you don't put your iPod or your wallet or whatever in there. It's not going to do a lot of good. So these machines, they have pretty well every cycle that anybody would want, and obviously the machine automatically defaults to the appropriate tumbling speed and spin speed for the cycle. So for bulky items, you're going to get and delicates. You'll have probably a more gentle tumbling speed and a more gentle and not as fast a spin speed. And normal, you'll have your fastest spin and largest tumble, and this will be medium in the middle. Hot, warm, and cold. So there again, they can totally tailor the water temperature to the type of clothes they're using. Obviously, if they've got color fast stuff in there, you know, they'll probably want to do a cold water wash, etc.
The soil level selection is the length of the actual wash cycle, and adds extra rinses as you go up in the soil levels, and that would be where you could set it up for extra charges on those ones, but like we said originally, this one's all the same price. So the soil level actually will increase the length of the wash and add extra rinses.
Okay, now, something that a lot of people that haven't used these machines before aren't going to be familiar with is the soap, fabric softener, and bleach dispenser. We have got for both machines and simple instructions up on the wall as well, which here again, just another thing to help make it easier. And we do suggest, and this is kind of, they're showing a quarter cup of powder equals just a small bit of liquid. You really don't need a lot. And they're saying high efficiency liquid detergents recommended, but you really don't have to use high efficiency if they don't want to. Regular liquid detergent works absolutely fine. And what the key thing is here, that they're saying put the powder detergent directly into the load like you just would in a top load washer rather than dispenser. The biggest service call that you can have is when these things get clogged up. Nowadays, probably 80 to 90% of the market has transitioned to liquid soap anyway, so it's not a big concern. But I think if people just follow that, you know, we're not going to have too. How often do you have a service issue with UBC? We've had machines up there for a number of years.
We redid the signage with that sign in all the laundry rooms, and it helped. What happens is the powdered soap doesn't fully dissolve in the tray, and it blocks the tray, and water, rather than going down the throat into the drum, will pour out the front of the machine and flood.
Yeah, and
it doesn't happen immediately. It takes like powder detergent over time before it accumulates to the point where it does that, but eventually it will lead to that. That's actually one of the things I check for when I do collections, is I pull out the drawer and make sure there's no gunk.
Ask
Yeah, so it's a fairly regular thing that people make that mistake, and it does, if you don't keep on top of it, lead to floods.
So in most instances, we're gonna catch it before it happens, but that's just as an explanation as to why liquid rather than powder.
So we should actually encourage our tenants with the initial package that we give them to use liquid detergents, period.
Certainly, certainly.
Better all around, doesn't
It makes it simpler.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be a month between collections, so if everybody's putting powdered soap in the tray, and you get heavy use, there is a chance that it would accumulate over the space of that month.
What about in here? How do I open this?
Oh, just like there.
What about the accumulation of mold and all the goobies that go on underneath here?
When I
If
do
you don't wipe it
my
out.
service, I wipe that as
Once a
well.
month?
Once a month. When I
And
come to
kind of reach it
collections.
down? Because this is, I'm just from my own experience, this area here, if you don't wipe it out on a regular basis, eventually it starts getting bacteria.
Other thing worth noting is if you leave the door open
It helps.
slightly, it helps dry the machine up, keeps it fresher longer.
It's something really to watch.
Yes.
Because it will build up, and what happens is, of course, you come once a month, which is fine.
Yep.
But if you don't, people say, oh, my clothes are starting to get stinky.
You got a regular custodian or somebody who's
Come by, wipe it down.
Yeah,
It's
So
something,
wipe it around here.
every day of the week.
something
wipe
worth
it
noting.
inside here?
If-
Yeah.
Especially at the end of the laundry day,
Yeah.
if all the doors are left slightly ajar, it helps the machines dry out and stay fresh.
So I went over to a friend's house and I told him about it, and he was only bought one of these first, like, real beautiful one. I stuck my finger in there, it had to have been an inch and a half of just green slime
Right.
stuff, because he didn't know you're supposed to wipe out underneath
It gets
there.
gross.
Something I'll put on
Just
the
something to
menu.
keep in mind.
I know, yeah. Sorry.
Very important.
Question. Okay, you say you do collections, but there's no money in there. What are you coming to collect?
What I come and do is I take a reading off the machine that says how many loads are done.
Right.
And when we generate our revenue profile for the month, it's based on the number of loads done by the machines.
Right.
So it's electronic data. I'm coming in and taking account how many loads been done by each machine, so we can take the money that we've collected and pay back the loads done that month. All the money that gets put on the cards goes immediately to Coinomatic, and then we
Rebate. yeah.
push it back as the loads are done. And that's what I come and collect is how many loads been done in each machine.
And
So
then
it's
they
just
give you
electronic
some
data.
cash, they
Yeah.
get some cash, everybody gets cash.
Okay. So kickbacks and graft all over the place.
Exactly. Now, so this is just how we put the card in here. Now, and it's saying, oh no, low balance. Well, actually, it's no balance.
Yeah.
So it's not going to let me
Okay,
do a load.
just as a matter of interest, why do they have these combinations of capitals and lowercase, which looks so, how shall I put it, retarded?
Because they're dealing with the the figure 8 display,
Right.
and not all the letters can be simulated by
Okay.
those in
Fair
one
enough,
case.
Thank you.
Good answer.
Good answer.
Well, it was an accurate
It
answer.
actually comes up.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe it.
Okay. You have that one just like that there, John.
And the dryer is even simpler than the washer. You know, it's one thing. One thing where is it here? Dryer instructions. Yeah, clean lint filter. You know, and it would be nice if people, when they finish their laundry load, clean it with the filter. But as a safety measure, have it as the first thing you do before you do anything else.
Nice thing about these machines is it's really visible. You know, it's not a slide down filter, it's just a hand swipe one. A lot of the
I see.
machines you see,
It doesn't come out.
you can't see that there's lint in it because it's hidden, but this
Oh,
one's
okay.
actually out in your face and you can tell right away.
Stick your fingers in, go zip,
Yeah.
pull it out, have
Yeah,
a little basket.
I think that's something they should tell,
we
because you're
need
gonna
a-
have some people trying to rip that thing. I wonder why they should shake it out or whatever.
Want to have a waste
And I assume
receptacle.
you're gonna have a, maybe a little pail,
bin, yeah.
pail or something in here, they can, call it, just label it lint pail or something. And
Something
you-
cutting like that.
Lint pail, lint and garbage pail, whichever. And here, just like the washer, there's a number of different cycles here. You just decide, high, low, or no heat, depending on the type of load you're doing. And delicates here again, delicates will automatically default to a lower speed, lower heat, so that if you're doing a cashmere sweater or something there, but you certainly don't want to shrink it or anything of value, so it's got that as well. And here again, you just throw the card in there, and this tells us again the balance.
Any of the card slots that you put the card in, whether the laundry or the debit credit will always display immediately the value that's left on the card.
Did we cover that during the other part? No, maybe we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like when they go load the 20, 10 or $50 on here, when they put it in, they'll always, first thing they'll see is how much money they have left. So if they've kind of forgotten, they put the card in there and they see that, and they don't have to have their laundry started first. They can just go check their card here or there at any time. So if they find that they only have like $2 left on the card, well, that's not going to be enough. It's only going to be enough to do the wash and not enough to do the dry. So they might want to, you know, while the wash is happening, go upstairs, grab their credit card, and, you know, or whatever.
And you can check on any floor rather than having to run all the way back to the
Exactly.
credit reload to check your balance, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, so exactly. So they, you know, all this won't be is only here. To Tyler's point, yeah, any machine will tell them exactly what the status is of the card, which is
Okay,
good.
and this is the only voting machine?
This is the only one.
Yes.
Just the one on the first floor.
Okay. Now, any questions on the washer and dryer so far?
No. Honestly, the posters take it through it step by step, quite simply. There's a fair bit of customization on it, but it defaults to a normal on both sides, so if you don't choose anything, it'll still wash.
Yeah, I think you should put some sort of signage up that you cannot remove the lint filter.
We gotta put that somewhere, yeah. You guys will have to make sure people know it. I don't know if you guys will, somebody
For what
has.
it's worth, it's seated under this front panel on this
Yeah.
side and bolted in on that side.
Yeah.
It'll take pry bar to get it out.
We should probably
That
have,
doesn't mean that somebody won't.
That does not mean that somebody, I do have spares.
Yeah.
probably put a sign up here, the society saying,
Yeah, just say
non-removable lint
Yeah.
filter, they'll figure it out, it only
Yeah.
takes a couple
Yeah.
of times.
Yeah, clean lint filter to be cleaned by hand. It's non-removable, something like that.
And that is, like some machines have very different lint filters.
Yeah.
You know, there's for the variants.
So that'll work.
Classic smart city bag down.